Jonathon, thank you for being here. It's a great pleasure to have you, and thank you for agreeing for an interview at such short notice.
Pleasure.
Let us start with a little bit about yourself as a person, and how did you sort of stumble on this idea of the Forum for the Future?
Right. So I have been involved in what people call sustainability for 40 years now. I joined the...
40 years?
40 years. A long time. I joined the Green Party back in 1973. And I suppose I've tried many different ways to communicate what sustainability is all about. Through campaigning organizations, through writing, broadcasting, consulting, everything that you can do to help people see how exciting a sustainable future could be. And that's really my work. I'm a teacher, I suppose, and I started my life as a teacher in a school in London, and I'm still teaching, but now I'm teaching about sustainability rather than English and drama, which I used to be a teacher of.
And how did you come to this idea of Forum?
So my first 20 years as a sustainability activist were really spent campaigning against things, trying to stop bad things happening. And that's still very important. But from a personal perspective, it's very wearing, always to be trying to stop negative things happening. It is much more uplifting trying to make positive things happen. So when I came back from the Earth Summit in 1992, I decided that I needed to devote the next period of my life to campaigning for positive change, not trying to stop bad things happening. And Forum for the Future was born out of that impulse, that it's easier to get change in society if you're working with people's positive energy.
That's very interesting because when you look at something negative and it drives you, issues like disability in the social sector or carbon emissions and the impact of it and stuff like that, it's easy to be driven by it. There's a cause.
Yeah.
But when you say you're bringing about positive change, what is the driver?
The driver is essentially better lives for people today and better lives for people tomorrow, and not securing the one at the expense of the other. If we make better lives for people today, only at the expense of people's prospects tomorrow, that is an immoral process. We have to create these better worlds, better lives for people, so that they are sustained through generations. And that's the difference between simply pursuing increased justice, prosperity, and opportunity in the short term, and pursuing all of those things for the long term, for many generations, not just for one generation. So for me, the driver for this is still justice, increased justice in society, a fairer distribution.
Something like Dr. Amartya Sen.
Amartya Sen is one of my great heroes. He's an astonishing man. I read his work many, many years ago, and I've listened to him lecture many times in the UK. So he is a role model for me in terms of the ways in which we can think about justice as the foundation for every other thing we want to make happen in our lives.
So that's what is driving you.
I guess I'm not a conventional environmentalist.
Okay.
I care passionately about the environment. I am very worried about the damage we're doing to the environment through our misuse of natural resources, of water, of land, forests, and I'm very worried about climate change. But I'm not a conventional environmentalist in the way that people would understand it. My principal driver is what is happening in our lives. I'm concerned about human justice as a better way of changing society.
Now, when you got these people together to form the forum, how did you really go about enrolling them? How did you convey your thoughts and drive this whole cause about
So the forum was set up in 1996, and we work with a lot of big organizations now, big global companies. And what happened was that I went to them and said, you're so used to organizations pointing the finger of blame and attacking you for the damage you're doing to society, the environment, whatever it might be. Wouldn't it make more sense to work with non-governmental organizations, with not-for-profits like the Forum, and co-create solutions to these problems, rather than waiting to get it wrong and be criticized by society, by the media, for these terrible things you do? Why don't we work together to bring about these solutions? Well, we got a chance to do that. And it took a while to establish this model, but we found that companies liked to be challenged, but wanted to know the challenge was about the answers to the problems, not just about the problems themselves. And that's really what the Forum does. That's what we do, is we work alongside our partners to co-create solutions to these deep social and environmental dilemmas.